Hey gang, welcome to episode 5 of the Ash Christine Designs podcast. My name is Ash and I am the host of this podcast. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd. Those of you who are returning viewers, you might know that that's not my usual recording date, but I have things coming up this week that can't be rearranged, so Wednesday it is. You can find me on Instagram as Ash Christine Designs and on Ravelry as Ash Christine. You can also find my designs on Ravelry as Ash Christine Designs, as well as on Etsy and lovecrafts.com. I will have links to everywhere that you can find me and everywhere that you can find my patterns in the description box below this video. There is also a group for this podcast on Ravelry. If you head to Ravelry and search Ash Christine Designs, it should pop right up for you. But in case you don't want to search for it, it will also be included in the links section in the description box below. And speaking of the Ravelry group, we actually have some knit-along news to talk about before we get into the meat of the episode. There is currently a knit-along running in the Ravelry group for the Mystery Christmas Sock 2020 pattern. That is a pattern that I released back in November. The first clue dropped November 30th. So if you want to participate in the knit-along, all you have to do is have a copy of the pattern and be following it and enter your socks into the finished object thread, which is not currently up as of the moment, but maybe by the time you watch this video it will be up. Either way, you can go ahead and start entering it into the chatter thread and talking about yarn choices and your progress so far with the pattern. And I may be pulling 1 to 2 people from the chatter thread to win prizes. I haven't entirely decided yet, but I will have the finished object thread up, which is where you will be entering your socks to win the prizes. I don't currently have the prizes to show you guys. I forgot to grab them, but there are photos in the Ravelry chatter thread, so you can go there to see what you're entering to win by participating in this knit-along. I'm feeling a little out of sorts today, so if I missed something or something wasn't clear, let me know and I'll clarify. But that wraps up knit-along news, so we're just going to move right on into finished objects, of which I have several to talk about. Sorry if the camera angle looks different. I had to adjust it, and I don't remember how it looked the first time, so here we are. But yes, I have several finished objects to talk about this episode, so let's get right in. So last episode rather, I had finished this baby deer beanie, which is so cute. And then this week, or after last episode, I was able to finish this deer beanie. So this is the adult one, and this is the baby one. I wanted to try out. So the pattern's actually sized from newborn up to, these look like I'm wearing deer mittens. The pattern's actually sized from newborn up to adult. It's like teen/adult. So I didn't want to try out every single size, but I wanted to make sure that it worked. Like the embellishments weren't too large on the baby one and that they weren't too small on the adult one. So I did try them both out. This is not the baby one, this is the toddler size, and this is the teen/adult size. So I would put it on and show you, but I do have my hair up in a bun. But yeah, this pattern is now fully finished. It is written up and everything. I'm aiming to get a couple of testers on it before it goes live. I meant to have it go live in the 4th, but because of the Thanksgiving weekend or Thanksgiving week here in the US, not a whole lot of people were available to test at the time that I needed them to. So I've pushed the publication date from the 4th of December later in the month. So when I know the official date, I will let you guys know. Moving right along with finished objects, I have this pair of mitts to talk about. So as I mentioned towards the end of last week's episode, sort of like in the chatter section, I do run an Etsy store where I sell my finished makes. So this is one of those. It's just somebody ordered a pair of fingerless mitts and they needed it sized differently than how I had it sized, so I had to custom make these for them this week, or last week rather. So that's what they look like. It's just a regular fingerless mitt with a garter panel down the back. And then the thumbs are just stockinette. But yeah, so that's what those are. And with those is a matching cabled beanie. This is the Madison Square beanie. This is one of my patterns. It's on Ravelry and Etsy, and I believe Lovecrafts. This is the Madison Square beanie, as I said. It is just a simple cabled beanie. This is actually one of my most popular ones to sell, like the physical objects. So, it's an extra tall one, so there's like 1 to 2 more repeats at the, before the crown decreases than what's written in the pattern. Because that's what was requested by the customer. So yeah, mitts and matching beanie. And these pom-poms are from, I just got them on Amazon. They're the snap pom-poms, so you can just pop them off and wash your hat and then pop it right back on. So, I will leave a link to the, I'll leave a link to where I got them on Amazon, but it's just a regular snap pom, and they came in a bunch of like neutral colors, and then I got one that was in like wilder colors, like I think I had some pinks and some greens and things like that, but the neutral colors are my favorite. So I will link both in the description box in like the other things section. But yeah, these poms, I really like them. Also in shop order news, these 2 snowmen were made up this week / last week. It kind of crossed over. It was like over the weekend and part of last week. These are little crocheted snowmen. If I remember to, I will put a picture right here, but I sell these in my Etsy shop as a family of 3. So there's, the 2 parents and then the little baby snowmen, which is so cute. I should have brought one I should have grabbed one to show you, but it's already kind of like packaged up and it's ready to go out the door, so didn't really want to unpackage it. But these are the 2 crocheted snowmen. Aren't they so cute? I'm in the middle of talking about another finished object when I just realized that I didn't tell you the yarn or the needles or anything to do with any of this. One day I'll get better at this. So for the deer beanies, the main color, the brown used here, is Caron Simply Soft in the chocolate colorway. The antlers is Caron Simply Soft in the off-white colorway. And the inner ear is the Caron Simply Soft in the plum wine colorway. And that's for both the toddler and the adult beanie. And for the matching mitts and beanie set, this is actually Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek. I think it's soft and sleek, but it might be soft and shiny, in the honey colorway. It's 100% acrylic, just like the deer beanies were, but I really like it. And my customers really like them too, because it's nice and soft, but it still has that shine to it, which is great. Okay, back to talking about my current finished object. These are 2 crocheted snowmen, which are so cute. If I remember to, I will put a picture right here, but I actually sell these in my Etsy store as a set of 3, so they come with the 2 adults, the 2 like parents, and then a little baby snowman, which is so cute. I would have grabbed one to show you, but it's kind of already packaged up. It's ready to go out the door. The other one is like still in pieces. It's not put together. The other ones that I have, rather. But so I don't have one to show you, but you'll just have to trust me, and you'll have to look at the picture up there. The baby is adorable. But yeah, these are 2 crocheted snowmen. Aren't they so cute? Okay, so the white used, and I'm going to put one down and show you the other one. So the white used is Bernat's Baby Sport. Yeah, it's like Bernat Baby Sport in like the white colorway. It might be like baby white or soft white or something. It's the white one. The green is actually a Lion brand. It's either Color Made Easy or what's the other one? Lion brand Soft something. I don't know. I'll have it linked below in the description or whatever if I can't remember it. If I do remember it, I might put it on screen. But that's what the green is. It's a Lion brand one. I believe it's Color Made Easy in like the grass colorway, but again, I'm not sure if it's Color Made Easy. The orange for the carrot nose is Caron Simply Soft in the mango colorway. It might be like Caron Simply Soft Brights. I don't know how they classified that one, but it is in the mango colorway. And then the gray for the hat is Caron Simply Soft in the heathered gray colorway. Or it might be gray heather, but basically the gray one. This is a pattern by Hannah of the Crafty Fox Crochet, which I will have linked below. This has been ever so slightly modified because I didn't want to use the exact yarn that she was using in the pattern, just as a personal preference and kind of what I could get my hands on at the time when I started making these. So the only real difference between the actual pattern and what I do is I have altered the sizing just a tiny bit, because I made it like following her directions exactly for the first one, and actually gave that one to a friend of mine or my sister, I can't remember which. But when I followed her pattern the first time, it came out larger than what I wanted it to, just because I have like a specific thing, and mailing and everything, it's easier for me if it was a smaller size. So the sizing is the only real big modification that I've made to the pattern, other than the hat. So the beanie on the in the pattern, excuse me, is a crocheted beanie. It's a cute little puff stitch beanie. It's adorable. But I just wanted mine to be knit, and I wanted that to be for a couple of reasons. One, I am more comfortable making beanies and things like that in knitting, because I know a lot more about that than I do about crochet. Crochet is something that I feel like I still have. Oh, okay. In knitting, I still feel like I have a ton to learn, but crochet is one of those things where I feel like I'm always learning, and I'm I follow someone else's pattern, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you could do that with crochet. So just because I am more comfortable with knitting beanies, that I wanted to make this one knit. Also, because it is knitted, I can duplicate stitch on initials if someone wants that on their snowman or whatever, and it's easier to do that than it is to put it on a finished snowman body. So that way I can whip up a bunch of these hats, and then if someone orders something personalized with an initial or whatever, then I can just duplicate stitch it onto the hat. But yeah, those are these two snowmen, and I really, really love them. I think that they're just so, so cute. Oh yeah, the eyes that I'm using here are 8mm safety eyes. They're the Darice 8mm safety eyes. I will have those linked as well. I get them on Amazon. And then these buttons are also ones I got from Amazon. I think they're like 6mm buttons, but I don't remember. But they're just a two-hole button. Two-hole button. Oh yeah, that's right. A two-hole button. Don't know how well you can see it on camera. It always looks like, oh, you can't see it on camera. And then when I put it on my computer, it's like, wow, that came out really well. But yeah, it's just a two-hole button just to give it that little snowman feature. I'm obsessed with these. I honestly am. Every time I make one, I'm like, it's so cute. I want to have like a million of these just sitting around my house. And honestly, one day I probably will. The only other thing I wanted to mention is she actually lays this out in the pattern about putting beans or like plastic pellets inside your snowmen to give them that, to give them the weight, so they'll sit up on their own. So I'm not like holding that upright. It's just upright. But yeah, I put mine in a plastic baggie on the inside. Don't know if you can hear that. Sorry if that sounds annoying to you. I'm one of those auditory people that, when a sound happens, if it's something that's, I can't. But yeah, I do have plastic pellets in the bottom half of the snowman to help it keep its shape and stay upright. But I put them inside a plastic baggie, just like a little, I think mine's like 2 inches by 3 inches, that I just put down inside here and then fill with beans, because I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but if you put beans in a crocheted item, not beans, but plastic pellets in a crocheted item, it is far more likely to slide out between the stitches, especially if your plastic pellets are small. So, because mine are quite small, I went with a plastic baggie, because that way I don't have to worry about anybody, like handing it off to a child and being like, oh, here, play with this, and the kid chokes on plastic pellets. But yeah, so mine is plastic baggie, and I'm not sure, I don't remember how she has hers in the pattern, but that's just the way that I do mine. And again, I will link her pattern below. It is a paid crochet pattern, but it is well worth the money. And if you're making these for yourself, there's nothing wrong with her sizing. I actually like her sizing. It's just personally for my shop and how much time it takes me and everything. It was just easier for me to downsize them just a little bit. It's not by much. But okay, I'm gonna put the snowman down. Otherwise, I'll sit here and talk about him for 45 minutes. And we have one final finished object to talk about, and that is this beanie, which I'm so excited about. This is my Christmas beanie for 2020. Last year, I wanted to start releasing Christmas beanies one a year, but last year time got away from me. I didn't get a chance to. So this is 2020's Christmas beanie. And I already have ideas on 2021. Don't ask. I'll get there. So this is just a little pine tree motif, and then ho 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 all the way around with a little mixed pom-pom. I'm obsessed. Whenever I do a yarn pom-pom, I'm obsessed with the mixing the two colors of like a whatever two colors I used in the design. Obviously not the main color, but the two contrast colors. There we go. I'm obsessed with mixing them in the pom. I just think it looks so cute. But yeah, this is my Christmas 2020 beanie. This one was originally supposed to be out December 11th, I think, which I may still meet that deadline. But again, this is one that I needed testers for over the Thanksgiving week, and nobody could really do it over the Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. But yeah, I'm planning on having testers out for this, hopefully in the next day or so, and then I'll have this pattern out sometime in December. And just because I'm fascinated by everyone else's floats on the inside of their hat, here you can get a look at mine. I love that with this pattern that you can see that it says ho ho ho, even though it looks like oh oh oh. I had that with the design when I was working on it. I was like, does this look like ho ho ho, or does it look like oh oh oh? I think it looks like ho ho ho. But the yarn used for this is the tweed is Care on Simply Soft tweeds in the off-white colorway. This green is a Lion brand. It's Lion brand 1 pound, but I don't remember the name. It's like dark green or something. I don't know. I'll have it either linked or on the screen, whichever is easier. And then this red is, I actually don't remember. I think it might be like a Walmart brand, like a Mainstays yarn. This is all 100% acrylic. And the reason for that is twofold. So one, I actually had all of these on hand when I went stash diving to do this, because I knew the colors that I was going with. I had charted it out. I knew that these were the colors. So I went through my stash, and these are the only ones I had on hand, which is fine. You know, use your stash. That's great. Also, because I am going to be offering this, it's already up in my Etsy store, and it's easier to get those than it is to, like, if I was to make this out of like 100% wool. I know that there are people out there that have wool allergies, so it's a lot easier for me to offer one thing than it to be like, you know, buy this listing, or, oh, if you're allergic, buy this one. So it's just easier for me to offer one. And I did want to see how it would behave with these yarns, rather than, you know, making it up out of wool or whatever, and then having to retest and see if it would work for the shop. But yeah, I actually had somebody say, those colors remind me of Home Alone. And it's so funny. I don't know why, but same. As I was knitting on it, I looked at my sister. I sent her a picture, and I was like, does this remind you of Home Alone? And she was like, yeah, just a little. And it was so funny. And then someone commented and was like, those colors, it's like Home Alone. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the color palette, but it's definitely Home Alone. And that's it for finished objects. So we're going to move right on into works in progress, of which I have a fair few. So I'm not going to go into all the details about this one because I have shown it so many times, but this is my Oxford Street pullover. This is a pattern of mine that's going to be coming out next year. I keep saying like March or so, but we'll see what ends up happening. It is just a simple stockinette top-down raglan sweater. Here are the sleeves. Here's one sleeve. There's the other. In case you don't know where sleeves are. But yeah, it's a simple raglan, mainly stockinette, top-down construction. In the front is the design part, which is cute little eyelets. I'm super, super excited because spoiler alert, I'm actually planning on knitting this up again in a fingering weight size because I really, really like the texture that this gives, but where I live, worsted weight is not the type of sweater you want to throw on every day. Even when it is cold here, you have like 4 days out of the year where it's cold enough for a true like worsted weight sweater. So I do want to knit this up into fingering weight so I can wear it a lot more often, but this one I will definitely get some wear out of because it's great. But I'm still not that far past the sleeve separation. I will go ahead and show you my marker. Last week I had a ghost marker on. I keep saying last week. Last episode I had a ghost progress keeper on because it was like before Halloween, but now it's after Halloween. It's December. Or no, it had been after Halloween. I had talked about how I was going to swap it. Doesn't matter. That is all I've done. Just a few rows. I know. I was busy with orders, as you've seen. And I was also busy with the finishing up the deer beanie, getting the pattern written up, and finishing up the ho 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 beanie, getting that written up. So time got away from me, and I did only get a few rows on this. But I plan to jump right back into it and do a lot over the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping by the end of December to have this finished. I know that's ambitious because I'm only a few rows past the sleeve separation. Well, only a few rows. I'm like probably 4 inches past the sleeve separation. So I do have a decent amount of progress past the sleeve separation, but it is ambitious to think I'll finish the whole thing by the end of December, but I think if I really buckle down and I focus on this and one other project, which I'll talk about in a minute, I think if I really buckle down and focus only on this project and maybe 1 to 2 more, I really think that I could get this finished by the end of December, sleeves and all. But we'll see. Fingers crossed that works out. I will keep you guys posted. Really quickly before I move on, that uses US size 7 needles. It's the Knit Picks options, the nickel-plated ones with the purple cable. I'm not going to show them again because I show them every time in this project. It's been on the needles for a long time. Here is the yarn. This is Lion Brand 1 pound. Is it Lion Brand 1 pound? Lion Brand Pound of Love. There we go. I'd get there. Lion Brand Pound of Love in the Oxford Grey colorway, which is partially the name of the, partially where the name of the design came from. Not entirely. There's a little bit more to it. The last time you guys saw this, it was in a badly wound skein. It had been in my stash for a long, long time. Sorry, I was interrupted and I have no idea what I was saying. But basically, the last time you guys saw this skein, it was pretty badly wound. It had been living in my stash for a while, and when I pulled it out of the bag, you pull something out of the bag and you pull it, and it's like it unwinds just a little bit. That's what happened when I pulled it out of the bag, and I just wound it back around the skein and didn't even think about it. But I had actually trapped the other end, the outside end, and it ended up getting around it and knotting it, and I couldn't figure out where the knot started or how to even get it out. Like I literally sat there for about 40 minutes trying to get it out, and it didn't work. So I actually ended up having to cut it straight from the sweater and ball it up as its own little cake and keep going that way. I had to reattach it and just go because honestly it was so stressful trying to unwind it and trying to get the knot out. So I actually ended up just cutting it out. And it's fine. It is what it is. Obviously, you never really want to waste yarn and you never really want to have to cut a knot if you don't have to. But it was just at a point where it was more stressful for me to try to get the knot out than it was to just cut it. But yeah, that is the color. It is a nice gray. I love this gray, honestly. If you know me in real life, you know how people are like either a color person or a neutrals person. I'm both, and gray is my neutral. I'm obsessed with gray. You guys, I just found a finished object I forgot to talk about. It's actually 3 finished objects, kind of. These are things that I include in orders when people buy things from me. Just over the holidays. So like November and December is when I start including these. Just little holiday light ornaments. They're quick to whip up. These are just crocheted ornaments. These have fiber fill on her. These are crocheted ornaments. These are using the same yarns that I used for the snowmen. So they're the red and green and the gray from the snowman hats and scarves. So that's what those are. The red ones, every time I make them, they kind of remind me of chilies. I don't know why. The green ones, I'm like, yeah, that's a Christmas light. And then I do the red ones, and I'm like, that looks like a chili. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I sent a picture to my sister, and I was like, do these look like chilies? And she was like, a little, but they mainly look like holiday lights. So you heard it here, folks. You heard it here, folks. Kind of chilies, kind of holiday lights. Anyway, back to works in progress now that I've talked about these random finished objects I forgot to talk about. I just have 2 more works in progress to talk about with you guys. One is the Madison Square beanie light, which is a pattern that I will have coming out next year. I've spoken about it a couple times on the podcast. That's what it's looking like. Very deep rib. And then the cabling is up here. Hoping you can see the cabling. I know last week I was like, oh, I don't know if you can see that. And then, like always, I put it on the computer and it's like, wow, you can really see that. But hopefully that shows up pretty well. You can see those cables. This is a pattern, as I said, that's going to come out next year. It is the fingering weight version of my Madison Square beanie. I was about to say hat, but that's what a beanie is. It is the fingering weight version of my Madison Square beanie, which is a worsted weight hat that's already on Ravelry and Etsy and Lovecrafts and all those places. But this is the fingering weight version. I actually had a lot of people ask me when I released the Madison Square beanie if I was going to release a fingering weight version or a light version. And I was like, yeah, of course, that was always the plan. But I just didn't get around to it that year, and now it's been like 2 years since I released that pattern. So it was time to jump on and do this. So I'm just a few repeats in, and hopefully I can get this done. This is one of those patterns I do not have a set deadline for. Like, I don't know when this one's going to come out. Part of me thinks February, part of me thinks March. But because I don't have a set deadline, I'm just kind of like picking this up and doing it as and when I have the time. It's kind of like when you cast on a sockhead hat, and you know it takes forever, but it's one of those projects that, because it's just round and round and round, that you can pick up and go whenever, which is what this is for me, because I am so familiar with this repeat that it's really easy for me to just pick it up. It's like stockinette to me, because it's just, I've done this hat so many times, the worsted weight version, that the fingering weight version is been really, really easy for me. But it is going to last a long, long time, because there's no rush on this. Watch, I'll say that and then get the urge to knit it all in December. But let me talk about this yarn. If you've been following the podcast for a while, you know that this yarn has tried to be several things and none of them worked out. But I'm really happy with the way that it is working out in this, even though it is micro striping, which at the beginning, when I talked about it, I said I was concerned it would muddy up the cable pattern a little bit. And I think that it probably has the potential to muddy it up a little bit, but I actually think it looks pretty cool. And when I take pictures of it, you can see the cable, and in person you can see the cable for sure. I just think that right now in this setup, sometimes it can be hard to see. Again, I'll probably put it on the computer and it'll be like, wow, that's the clearest it's ever looked. Anyways, the yarn. This is the Red Pansy Voyager Twist in the Gold Crest colorway. It's a beautiful colorway. I love the Red Pansies yarn. Kelly, who's the dyer, she's so sweet. I love it so much. I actually have a couple more of her, or I have one more of her skeins in my stash, but she uploaded a bunch of new ones, or what's that called? Updated her shop? Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. She updated her shop with a bunch of new colorways and some old favorites from last year, some of her winter colorways, and I may have to sneak a few into my cart because Winter Cabin's calling my name. So I don't know about you guys, but it's a great, great colorway. I'll leave a link to her shop in the description box. But yeah, the Gold Crest colorway. I really, really like this colorway. It's me, okay? It's gray and it's yellow. What could be better? Okay, last finished object here, and this is a fun one. Not that the others aren't fun, but this is a new cast on. It was cast on, let's see, Friday night, Saturday morning. I think it was Saturday morning. This is my socks for Natalie of the Nitty Natties Sock Mezcal. So I'm just on the ribbing of the cuff. I think I've done like 4 or 5 rows of the ribbing. These are on my, I just realized I didn't talk about my needles for the Madison Square Beanie Light hat. There's a US 4 Chiao Goose red lace 16-inch circular needle. One day, I tell you guys, one day I'll remember. I'll make sure I talk about every single finished object before I move on, and I'll make sure that I talk about yarn and pattern and needles before I move on. It's a thing. But these are my Sockmas 2020 socks for Natalie of the Knitty Netties Knit Along. I am knitting these on US size 2, my preferred sock needle, 9-inch Chiaogu red lace. This stitch marker, if anyone's curious, is part of a Holiday Lights stitch marker set, which is available in my Etsy store, which I'll have a link to below. But this is also, a set of these is one of the prizes for the Mystery Sock 2020 Knit Along. So the yarn I'm using is an old one from my stash. This is the yarn company, or indie dyer rather, from the Milk Parlor. It was Katie. I went to look at her shop the other day because I went to go link this on Ravelry, like this yarn, and it wasn't on Ravelry, so I went to go like add it and leave a link to her Etsy store, but I couldn't actually access her Etsy store, and it's no longer in her Instagram bio, so I'm not sure that she's actually dyeing yarn anymore. But this is an old one from her. It didn't have a colorway name, it was just a one-off. She actually sent this to me, because I know Katie, she's great. She actually sent this to me to make a pair of sample socks a couple years ago. She was going to a trunk show or a yarn show or something, and she asked me to knit up a pair of sample socks so she could show what the colorway looked like. So that's what I did for her. And I actually love this colorway a lot. It's green and purple, and just that neutral base is really, really cool with these speckles. But yeah, this is what's left over from that skein. It was about half a skein. And I knit my socks fairly short-ish. They're not that long. But I'll definitely be able to get a full pair of socks, full pair for me, socks out of this. But let me show you my contrast colors. So this is actually a contrast color that she sent me to use for the heels, cuffs, and toes a couple years ago, like I said, when I was making those sample socks for her. I ended up using them for the heels and the toes. So I think I might have enough to do toes or heels. I'm not sure which. I do stockinette, what are the heels called? Heel flap and gusset. I do a stockinette version. I have done the slip stitch, is that what it's called? A slip stitch heel flap? Yeah, a slip stitch heel flap. Forgive me, my brain's all over the place right now. I've done a slip stitch heel flap before, and I don't really like the fit of it. I just feel like it narrows it too much for me. So I do stockinette versions of heel flap and gussets. So I think this is enough to do 2 heels, but I'm not sure about the toes. I'm also not sure if I want to do a contrast for the toes. But if I do want to do a contrast for the toes, this might be enough to do toes or heels, not for both socks. What am I saying? This yarn might be enough to do either both heels on the socks or both toes on the socks. I'm not sure which, but I know for a fact it's not enough to do both heels, both toes. So, not sure yet which one I'm doing that for, but I have a second option here, which is this nice pink. This is a half skein of Bad Wolf Girl Studios in the Pepper Imps colorway. It's on her twisty matte base, I believe. I also don't know if she's still dyeing yarn. I went to go link her shop to somebody else the other day, and it said something about how she has custom dye jobs now, so I'm not sure if she's doing anything like one-off at all. I haven't seen it in a while, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I believe this is the Pepper Imps colorway. She sent me 2. This is another thing I did a sample for. I did a sample of what's that cowl that everybody loves? The Brioche Bandana Cowl by, I'm going to put her name here because I don't remember her name. Patricia something? I'm probably wrong. But yeah, she had sent me this along with the Dumbledore colorway, or was it Dumbledore's office? I think it was just Dumbledore. And I did that for her. If I remember to, / if I can find the picture, I will put a picture right there of what the Brioche Bandana Cowl looked like. But this is just left over from that. And I asked her, do you want me to send it back when I send back the sample? And she said, no, just keep it. Which is cool. So these have potential to be either heels or toes. There's also quite a sizable amount, so part of me is like, put it back and use it for socks, which, knowing me, I might. Knowing me. So yeah, those are my Sockmas 2020 socks. And I think if I focus solely on those and solely on the sweater, that I could have these socks done by the deadline, which is the 18th, I believe. I know it might not look like I'm very far into the socks because I'm just a few rows into the cuff, but if, to those who know me in real life, I could knit a pair of socks in a week. Like, it's not that hard for me. I don't say that as like a brag thing. I say that as in like I'm not that worried about hitting the 18th deadline. Because, first of all, I'm participating in the Cal mainly for fun. So if I don't get it entered in and I'm like not eligible for prizes, that's not a big deal to me. I'm just doing it because I wasn't sure I was going to knit a pair of socks in December. I usually do knit a pair of Christmas socks, but my Christmas socks this year are my socks I knit up in November for the Mystery Christmas sock knit along, the pattern that came out in November. Those are my Christmas socks this year, so I wasn't entirely sure I was going to knit another pair of socks in December because, again, those are usually my Christmas socks. But I decided that these do not have to be Christmas socks, but they can be knit in December, and they do not have to be this year's Christmas sock. I know I could go ahead and knit next year's Christmas sock, but for me, part of the joy of knitting Christmas socks is knitting them during that Christmas season, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so for me, the big draw of participating in this knit along is the participation. It's not necessarily the prizes. I mean, obviously, if I get them done in time, I'm going to enter them in for prizes because why wouldn't I? But yeah, for me, it's more about the participation. So I think if I focus solely on those socks and solely on the sweater, that I could definitely have the socks done by the deadline of the 18th, and I could definitely have the sweater done by the end of the month. However, a couple episodes back, I talked about a blanket that I was working on, my crocheted ripple blanket. I do not have it with me to show today. I thought about digging it out, but I didn't. I kind of want to finish that before the end of the year, so I can enter the new year with only a few blankets on the go. Don't know how that's going to work yet, because if I want to focus on the socks and I want to focus on finishing the sweater, the odds are that the blanket's going to get bumped and not get finished. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get the socks done, I can get a large portion of the sweater done, and I can focus on the blanket for a bit. Because the blanket is literally, it's like 8 inches away from being finished, okay? And each row is like 1.5 inches. So, technically speaking, I probably have 8 to 10 rows left. It's probably not 1 inch tall, it's probably like 1/2 inch tall. But I probably only have like 8 to 12 rows, 8 to 10 rows maybe. And it's like, I just can't get in the brain space of like, finish that. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, plans for December are to finish the socks by the Sockmas deadline and finish the sweater by the end of December. So those are the two big goals, and then the blanket is also a goal, but if it doesn't get done in December, I'm hoping to finish it early January. So that's the plan anyway. So that is all for works in progress. Now just some quick chatter because I want to catch up with you guys and see what's going on with you. You can hear what's going on with me. So not much is going on other than orders, and I am getting things ready for next year's patterns. Later today, I have to cast on the pattern that's coming in January, which I'm really, really excited about. It's something that I had thought about doing a while ago, but I wasn't sure of how the stitch pattern would work. And now that I've figured it out, and it's definitely going to work the way that I think it's going to work, I think it's going to be one of my favorite patterns because just from the little swatch, I got so excited seeing it. It's just, anyway, I'll talk more about that when it's on the needles or when it's finished, either one. But I will go ahead and show you the yarn. I caked this up a couple days ago when I caked up the gray yarn, the yarn for the Oxford Street pullover. It's coming up pretty, it's getting a little blown out, but at least you can see it. Yeah, back here is more of an accurate color thing. It looks pretty black on the screen, but I'm hoping when I put it on my computer, it'll look blue. This is the Cascade Yarns 220 superwash yarn. I forgot to grab the tag. It is superwash. It is 220 yards. It's 100% superwash. I don't remember the colorway name. I think it's 1924. I mean, the colorway number. I think it's 1924. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But this is in the Midnight Heather colorway. And I love this yarn, honestly. I've worked with Cascade yarns so many times. A couple of my patterns are actually knit out of, I can think of one, but I think there might be a second one of my patterns that's knit out of Cascade yarns. I actually love their yarns. Their superwash has such a bounce to it. I don't know if you can like tell, but it's got such a bounce. But yeah, this is the yarn that's going to be used for January's pattern. I'm super, super excited. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I can't wait to cast on later. This actually came in a ball. What do you call them? The palette comes in the same put up. It's like a ball. And I was going to pull from the center, but I ended up just winding it into a cake because I like working from cakes more than balls or anything else. It's just my preference. I actually posted a picture of this to my Instagram story on Thanksgiving or the day after, and I was like, keep your pies, just give me cake on cake on cake. And it's true, I would, yeah. Between the choice of, do you want a slice of apple pie or 3 skeins of yarn, or 3 cakes of yarn, give me the cakes of yarn. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, so that's coming up in the works, is I'm going to be casting on that pattern. But yeah, so basically just pattern things coming up. The knit along is still running, which is awesome. I can't wait. If you've not swiped your copy yet, until the final, or no, not until the final clue, until the Cal wraps on January, the Cal wraps January 10th. So on January 9th at midnight, the coupon code, or not a coupon code, it's a regular sale, the discount applies when you put it in the cart. The discount will disappear. So before, if you purchased it before the knit along start, you got a special early bird price. Now that the knit along has started, because the first clue dropped November 30th, then you get the Cal price, which is $5. And then if you purchase after the Cal has wrapped, so January 9th at midnight, it expires. If you purchase it January 10th or beyond, it goes back to the full price, which is $6. But yeah, so if you haven't snagged your copy and you want to, make sure that you grab it for the Cal price, and make sure that you start chatting away in the Ravelry thread. I do have an Instagram hashtag for it, but unfortunately, at the current moment, Instagram is not allowing people to search the recent posts. It's only the top posts. So I can't scroll through the hashtag and see anybody's socks yet, which is a little upsetting, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. So make sure that you, if you post on Instagram, please be sure to tag me either in the photo or in the description so I can actually see it, comment, share it, the whole 9 yards. And then also make sure if you are using Ravelry, or if you're somebody that uses the Ravelry forums, do make sure that you pop in there and chat away in the chatter thread, and then everything in order to potentially be pulled for a prize from the chatter thread. But prizes will definitely be pulled from the finished object thread. And again, you can see prizes by going to the Ravelry thread, which I'll have linked below. The chatter thread, the photos are already there. So that's pretty much it for this week. Bit of a long one. I had a lot to chat about. A lot of finished objects, even if I forgot some of them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of gearing up for the holidays, kind of gearing up for pattern stuff for next year. I'm excited with where everything is going. I'm excited with kind of the opportunities that are starting to open up for me and things that I'm able to do. But I am not sure when I'll be podcasting again, because my usual podcast schedule doesn't exist. Don't really have one. I do one like once every 3 weeks or so now at this point. I don't know. But so that would put me right in like Christmas week, which I don't think I'll be doing. I don't think I'll be doing a podcast in Christmas week. So maybe the week after I might be doing a podcast. It might not be till January. I don't know yet. I have no idea. But I'm hoping to start posting to like Instagram stories and stuff. Just kind of like quick chats, here's my day. Oh, look at this, blah, blah, whatever. Which was something I did want to mention. I love every year watching Vlogmas. I've been watching, Kay started hers early. Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. She started hers on November 30th, which was great because I love watching on the 1st of December. It's awesome. And then I know that Natalie of Nitty Natty has uploaded hers today since it's the 2nd. So I can't wait to go watch her. And then Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast, she does hers. I think that Meg of Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits is still doing hers, is doing a Vlogmas this year. I don't know. I haven't seen her latest podcast because I'm behind on everybody. But I believe that she is doing it as well. So if she is, I need to pop in there and check out hers because I love all things Vlogmas. It's one of my favorite parts of the year. I feel like I spend all year long looking forward to Vlogmas because it's like this instant Christmas cheer, and it makes you I love Vlogmas. But yeah, so I will leave links, by the way, to all those people I just spoke about, in case you want to check them out, in case you've never heard of them. They are some of my favorite people to watch. They just, and their vlogmases, they're always so cute. So yeah, that's basically it. Just pattern news, watching Vlogmas, getting ready for the holidays, all that stuff. I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast. I hope that you got some knitting done during it, maybe had a nice coffee or some tea or something. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but when I'm back, hopefully I'll have another stack of finished objects to talk about. I hope, again, that you've enjoyed yourself. If you are new and you are interested in seeing more, make sure that you subscribe so that you can see when I upload the next podcast. And again, if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I will leave links to everywhere that you can find me. I will leave links to the pattern that I spoke about, the Christmas knit-along pattern. Everything will be in the description. Ending of podcast is always strange for me. Anyway, so before I ramble on too much more, I'll just say thanks for watching. Thanks for checking this out if you're new. And I hope to see you guys sometime soon. Hopefully before Christmas, if not after Christmas. So take care. Bye.